My name is Mallory Asis. I am 18 years old and I go to Mira Mesa High School. I run track and field. I've been running since I was probably sixth grade. So it's been a long journey. I ran a sprinter at first. I ran in the Junior Olympics when I was in seventh grade in Iowa. It was my first race ever. I was unattached, so it was really cool. Then I got sick in eighth grade and I switched to distance running for high school. And I ended up winning the Eastern League champion and qualifying for CAS my first year, which was super cool. But then COVID kind of happened, so I didn't really get to run for a little while, but it actually gave me a lot of opportunity to train throughout COVID on my own. And so I came into sophomore year and I set 2 course records, a 10:37 for my 2 mile and a 4:59 for my 1 mile. So I was the second fastest in the history of the school, which was really cool. I developed a lot of good relationships with the people on my team and a really strong bond with my coaches and stuff. So that's been really cool. But then I was kind of overtraining and I had a bit of an eating disorder. So I ended up getting 2 stress fractures in my leg, and I also got 2 compression fractures in my spine. And so that kind of messed up my career. I lost a lot of potential recruitment options with schools and stuff. And I kind of ended up having to stop running, which kind of sucked, but it's and even now I'm not where I used to be, especially since I just came back, I think last season. So it's been a journey, but I'm kind of more into coaching now and mentoring the kids on the team and setting up workout plans for the injured athletes. And we actually found out that a lot of kids actually did have stress fractures or some kind of injury. So I was able to get them up to the trainer and checked out. And so we're trying to change the focus of the program to be more health oriented rather than competition oriented, which is really cool. So I'd love to consider coaching in the future. And then other hobbies, I play piano. I've been playing since I was first grade, so 6 or 7 years old. Kind of had to stop more in high school, but now since I don't take lessons, I get to do my own thing, contemporary, new age, pop music, that kind of stuff, instead of the typical Beethoven and Chopin and stuff like that. So it's cool. I just play in my free time and stuff. So I recently wrote a book. I started writing it when I was 14 years old, when I first started grappling with mental health issues. And a couple months ago, when I had a big kind of breakdown with mental health, I kind of had an epiphany and wanted to put my past experiences in a book to help other people. And the book is called Conversation with Self, and I'm going to be reading one of the very first poems I wrote when I was 14 or 15, and it's called If Walls Could Whisper. This room sings of yesterday and dances for tomorrow. 2 coats of paint, yellow to blue, and 3 changes of sheets. The first doesn't count. Stuffed animals stare out bleakly. I often wonder if their eyes are as tired as mine. I think the bear judges me. Mama Teddy is her name, but I can't blame her, for I so despise hypocrites. Thousands of worlds and trillions of lives nestled in blankets of paper and pillows of ink, stuffed to the brink of a fusion, not merely trapped by glue or stitched in saddles of differing hues. Classics I saved from the covetous clutches of time, lush romances spun from lies, but too spellbound not to read, too promising not to believe, all mine, dystopian societies of limitless possibilities, heroines painted in love, power, envy. Magic and hope corroborate. Artistic, cunning hands present my ideal fantasy, locked with a key, its location undisclosed, unwarranted, unknown just to taunt me. Colorful ribbons brandish discs of plastic, copper, and aluminum, swaying to the song of a past beat, pushed along by the same flurry of air the fan used to lull me into subliminal sleep, their presence on my neck, gliding effortlessly to a dance I can no longer repeat, lent credence to self-worth. Now they're pendulums, swinging, counting down the time till the colored nooses make me repent for lacking the strength to keep up. The mirror calls out, threatens to pull me in. They say glass is colorless, transparent. If that's true, why is mine tainted in opaque blacks and blues? Why does my body refuse to evanesce, wither away, dissolve into nihility like my reflection wants of me? Weakened, wet sheets between fretting, fatigued fingers. The fourth change arrived a few days past. After the broken one came to steal the last lilac on my sheets last night, a fissure opened up and swallowed me in my sleep. I was knee-deep in dreams, grappling for sanity while sheet number 3 strangled, limbs tangled, mind mangled, in a body that just wanted to breathe. I wish the animals could hear my screams because metals aren't the only ones capable of choking. There's a figure trying to claw its way out of the mirror, but it isn't me. The black and blues are coming, slithering, coiling around a lifeless body. I find myself wondering if these walls whisper, because I could have sworn they promised to protect me when I was 3. Darkness thrives inside and outside the space, but if these walls could whisper, I like to believe they would have sent warning, instead of reminding me of sheet change 3, locked away, pushed deep in the closet where the animals cannot see. This room sings of yesterday, but you won't see me dancing. That's an excerpt, so yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
That was really good.
I really appreciate that. I would say hold on to hope and understand that it's important to face the hard times instead of stifling it, because that's how we learn and that's how we grow. I was always frustrated with how everything in my life seemed negative. Like bad things kept on happening to me and like trauma kept resurfacing, and I just internalized it all and was wondering like what I did to cause this much grief. And knowing that it's not your fault, but also knowing that life isn't happy, like there's no happy parts and positive parts if you haven't met sadness before, because it's contrast, like in photography, like everything looks brighter if you have a darker color or a darker shade to bring out the light. And I think when you've gone through experiences like that are darker, where you feel hopeless, it makes the positive moments in your life more cherishable. Oh gosh, I have a lot of goals. I've always wanted to be a doctor because when I had an eating disorder, I met an adolescent and young adult specialist, and I'd never heard of that type of doctor before. But because she also had a degree in psychology in addition to like the pre-med stuff, I felt like it was the first time a doctor ever saw me outside of just being a patient, but being a person too, and understanding that the physical is so connected to the mental. And I felt like she was helping me not just to get better in the short term, but to get better in the long term. And I want to create that kind of doctor-patient bond with people in the future, because I think that's how you can change somebody's life, and I think I could touch a lot of lives in that way. But at the same time, I've kind of felt pressured by like teachers and stuff to be a doctor, and I still am really passionate about it, especially like neuroscience and stuff, but I also really want to write and like get a creative writing degree, so I'd love to double major and do both pre-med and creative writing, even though that's probably going to be a lot of work. But that would be the dream. I want people to read my work on a broader level, because it's hard to market a book. Like I just published a few days ago, and right now my outreach is my friends. So I'd like to become more. I mean, I'm already a published author, but I want to get more of my work out there. So that's a dream too. I also want to get back to running. I used to be like really fast and do like 60 miles a week, and now like walking up the stairs is sometimes hard. I'm like, geez, but I'd love to get back to where I used to be and go beyond that. And my coach also told me when I was having a rough time and I was like, I'm so much slower than I used to be. He was like, did you know that women are actually faster than men when it gets to like races that are over 100 miles? And I was like, really? Because of like the different body composition and stuff. And one of my favorite runners, Courtney Dauwalter, has the fastest 100-mile time in like the history of the world, like males and females combined. So I'd love to be an ultramarathoner one day. I think that's a big goal, but I think I could do it. I've ran like 50 miles before. That was kind of because of a mental health thing, but I think if I could do it, then I can do it again in like a better headspace. So I want that too. I also am really big on female activism. I was sexually assaulted when I was younger. Oh, that's why I started like writing. And I actually, going right back to school, I decided to do my AP research project on the etiology of juvenile sex offenders, because I wanted to get into the other perspective and understand why this is happening at such a huge level in the first place. Like 1 in 3 women and girls are sexually assaulted at one point in their lives, and I think that's such a huge statistic that we overlook so many times. And like once it's happened to you, you start seeing it everywhere. Like my first slam poetry contest, the first woman that won up, her poem was called 1 in 3 after that same statistic, and every single woman that night that performed, their poem was all about sexual assault in the past, and it's been like that at every contest since. And the like mental health kind of like school hospital I go to right now, every single girl in there was sexually assaulted, and that's one of the reasons they're there. And I just feel like this has been going on for centuries and we haven't done enough to address it. So when I'm older and have a wider platform, I want to be able to contribute to that effort, like do something about like maybe an equal protection amendment that was never passed in like the 70s or 80s or whatever it was. Hopefully get Roe v. Wade back up there, but like alter it so that it's a little more like inclusive and like forthcoming to all the states involved, just that kind of thing, and giving more resources to people who have been through acts like that kind of thing. My sophomore AP research project, going back to that, actually ended up getting a perfect score, like in the entire country. I was the top 1% in the world to get a perfect AP score. So that was really cool, because actually I tried to get participants from my study just to take a survey, and none of the teachers or staff from like schools in San Diego wanted to take the test because it was so taboo. And I was just like, this is why we're not moving forward with problems like this, because people are afraid to address and be in the uncomfortable, but the only way to solve the uncomfortable is to address it and look it in the face to make changes. So I want to be able to contribute to that on a broader level when I'm older and help make an impact. I think what makes me happy is just being in the present and knowing that I have a purpose here. So whether that's interacting with friends or just making a difference in the community or just living in the moment, you know, like sitting on the couch writing with my dog, or like laughing with my dad, or going on a walk in nature with my mom. I think that's what makes me happy, like the little things. Like when I was really depressed and I was coming out of trauma, like I went outside and I was like, oh my God, the sunset is just gorgeous. And like, I try to watch it every single day, and like the flowers growing from like a sidewalk crack, like what the heck, how is that even happening? You know, or the shape of the clouds, like I'll be at practice stretching and I'll just look up and I'll be like, guys, look at that cloud. And we're all like, whoa. So little moments, I guess, yeah, little moments, and just being present and realizing we don't have a ton of time on this earth and that we should make the most of it. So I guess just living, yeah.